Hello and welcome back to Crash Team Racing Part 7, and in this episode, we'll be finishing off the CTR token hunt in World 3 and moving on into World 4.
Nice. There's World 4, it's the castle.
But first, we must go through Polar Pass. I fucking love Polar Pass.
You remember the very last segment of Crash 1, of course, one of the greatest video games of all time, where you actually had to start going through Dr. Neo Cortex's castle-like fortress. I am kind of happy for the parallel.
No, Crash 1 is not. Crash 1 is not one of the greatest video games of all time. Crash 1 controls like fucking shit, and it's almost impossible. And it's almost impossible to actually do 100% the damn thing.
Well, this is long. Okay, well, just as long as we're clear.
And then, of course, when I say Crash 1 is shit, my power-ups start failing. Of course.
Because you have taken the name of the ancestor in vain. Begone with ye, foul-mouthed demon.
Brake slide.
Be careful not to overcompensate your jumps. You fall into a pit.
Yeah, that happens to me all the damn time. Not in this game actually, but in Double Dash. I recently went and finished off the time trial segments in Mario Kart Double Dash on my current run through, and yeah, I was almost falling into pits on every other track. It was very sad.
It's a T. Time to get your T.
Got it. And so we have collected all the CTR tokens on the first lap and are somewhat commanding lead.
That's right. Now,
did I mention that I fucking love this course?
This course is really... You know what I really like about this course? It's that giant frozen polar bear that we just passed.
Which is a reference to Crash 2.
Which is a reference to Crash through to the unbearable level. So which was your favorite thing to be chased by in a Crash game? Was it the boulder, the polar bear, or the Triceratops?
I gotta say, honestly, it's the Triceratops. I don't even like Crash 3 all that much, but having a Triceratops bearing down on you in that kind of level aesthetic was actually so goddamn cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Triceratops too.
Mind you, if I had experienced that when I was a kid, I would have loved it even more, because I was a huge dinosaur nut when I was 6, so...
Nice.
Dinosaurs are fucking awesome.
Yeah. They remind us of how big things can get on our planet, because planet Earth is cool.
Planet Earth is honestly pretty cool. It's not the coolest planet in our solar system, but it's up there.
Now, what do you think is the coolest planet in the solar system?
Personally, I would have to say either Jupiter or Neptune.
Nice. So the gas giants.
Yeah, I actually really like the scope that the gas giants honestly have, because Jupiter is like what, 1/20th the size of our sun?
Yeah, it's about like 100 times the size of the Earth, and yeah, like a fraction the size of the sun. Yeah, still pretty goddamn big.
Yeah, it's fucking enormous. But the whole reason why we call on Jupiter and Neptune is actually more along with the fact that in my teenage years, how into reading Greek mythology I was, and Jupiter and Neptune are the Roman translations of specifically Zeus and Poseidon.
Zeus and Poseidon. Oh, I see. Because Zeus would be the biggest observable planet.
My headcanon is that it's because Zeus actually tried to fuck everything that moves, so he's the biggest dick.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I stayed up all night last night preparing that one. It was a great effort of comedy on my behalf.
You know, I was expecting a nice, quiet, enjoyable night of stargazing, but then I looked up and there's a giant dick in the sky.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I jumped over it.
Oh, you already had your coffee, now you gotta get your tea. It's alright, we got more chances.
Alright. Speaking of the fact that Crash 1 is total shit, and I'll fight anyone that says otherwise.
Remastered.
It has been recently rumored / confirmed that the original Spyro trilogy is getting a remaster, much in the same vein that Crash Insane trilogy got.
Nice.
I am very happy about this, specifically because with Skylanders officially going under, Spyro needs more love.
Now, how will you feel once you realize that all of the voice acting from the original game is going to be replaced by new voice acting?
I'm totally okay with that. Let me be honest here. I am not actually all that attached to any of the original voices aside from Spyro, but even then, Spyro's voice could be better, and it was actually better in some of the later games. The thing that people don't like to remember is that despite the fact that a lot of people really despite the fact that the later games didn't actually sell that well, several of them were still decent video games.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically the Wii Dawn of the Dragons game that I played that one for several hours, and I was like, I mean, it's not really a Spyro game in my book, but it's not a bad video game. I mean, sure, the motion controls are jank as hell, but that's because it's on the Wii. I'm sure that on the PS2 and Xbox, it actually controls just fine. I never got to play it on those systems, though, so...
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that something when a game in a franchise is so unlike the other games that it becomes its own thing? And it's good!
Kinda. That's what Hero's Tale was. Hero's Tale was an action RPG with level up with progressive characters, at least as far as I can recall. I also didn't actually play Hero's Tale. I'll be honest, I actually only got to experience the first 3 of the Spyro trilogy, and I skipped out on almost all of the other games. I don't think I ever heard why Enter the Dragonfly was bad, but I managed to stay away from it until way later on, after I already had been told how bad it was. I tried it out and I was like, yeah, this is damn near unfinishable because, my god, it wasn't that it was broken, it was that specifically the level design and how expansive and far out the collectibles were just felt really wrong for a Spyro game. I mean, you play Spyro's 2 and 3 specifically, and you start to realize all the gems are like relatively easy to collect. I mean, there are several that are relatively difficult to get areas, but once you actually have got the level like mapped out and know what most of your abilities are, you can almost in every level actually 100% the level on your first visit. And the only time that they made exceptions to that was in Spyro 2, where you needed to go buy power-ups.
Right, and it slowed you down.
Yeah. Well, Spyro 3 did it with hero characters, but you know, I was actually okay with that particular gate. I was not okay with Spyro's gate Spyro 2's gate of, you know, having to buy power-ups. That always rubbed me the wrong way. It's why I've always had a negative. That's why since Spyro 2, I've had negative connotations for Moneybags.
Moneybags.
Moneybags is honestly a decent character, but you know, he made Spyro 2 worse, so fuck him. And with that, I believe we have all the CTR tokens in World 3. So we are moving on to World 4.
Nice. Use
now,
your 3 keys.
N-Sane Trilogy did a lot of things that people dislike, in that they changed the way that the controls worked a bit. And come on, where's the jump cut? Oh, I guess we're not doing a jump cut this one.
You got the keys.
Yes. It changed Crash's hitboxing to a circle, and it changed how it controls a little bit. I'm not so worried that I would end up having those problems with Spyro, because Spyro has a totally different control mindset than Crash does.
Yeah, it won't feel like the same game. Because that's the impression that I got, is that this is a great looking game that uses like the same facilities as a previous game. And then there were a few moments where I realized, okay, this feels like the original Crash one. And then there were moments where not so much.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, on the subject of remastered games, that the original voice actor for Spyro might reprise his role.
I doubt it. I really do.
You doubt it?
I doubt it. I mean, I don't think they've used the original voice actor for Spyro since Skylanders. And remember, it's Spyro is still owned by Activision, so...
Well, yeah, but not the voice actors.
The voice actors aren't, certainly, but then again, who does own the voice actors?
The Voice Actors Guild.
Okay, so... what has the voice actor for Skylander Spyro been up to?
Hopefully finding more work.
Same. I have no idea what he's been up to.
So, by that logic, I would think it even more likely that as long as the original voice actor isn't dead, that at least he might be interested.
He's very likely still alive.
Yeah, it's only been 20 years. And believe me, the voice does not change that much. Even after 20 years, it's amazing.
But one of the things about the original Spyro voice is that it was very much trying to be a young child voice, like, you know, like 7. Well, no, not 7, closer to like 10/11. Do you think that they'd still have? Do you think that they would keep all of the dialogue like that? Because one of the things that I'm convinced that they'll try and do is a little bit of quality of life changes. Specifically for levels like Enchanted, like Haunted Towers. I hated Haunted Towers as a kid. Haunted Towers is the reason that I could not 100% Spyro 1 until I was in my late teens.
Yeah. So, remastered might not remedy that. It might make it easier to see where the problem areas are.
Well, a lot of the problem areas from Spyro's 2 and 3 come from moneybags, honestly, and I don't really want them to get rid of moneybags in 3, although I want it to be implemented better, certainly.
So what's going to happen is when they do the way the Insane Trilogy did, what the original loadout of the Crash games did, for one thing, they brought in Clancy Brown. And during the original rollout, they brought in Clancy Brown only for the second game, and then they got rid of the original voice for Dr. Neo Cortex. Now, when they did the Insane Trilogy, they had everybody in all at once. They did all 3 games at once, so it had that consistency. That's what made it great.
Congratulations, you win a trophy.
Now, did Clancy actually reprise his role for Cortex for the Insane Trilogy?
No, he did not. Clancy Brown, they haven't used Clancy Brown for Dr. Neo Cortex since
Wrath?
Since Wrath of Cortex. I think Wrath of Cortex was his last game. Yeah. You fool! Do you not think I am aware of the situation?
I'm actually interested in Mind Over Mutant, to be honest.
Mind Over Mutant?
Yeah. Oh, trying to get back on course here. I know, terrible me, but Cortex Castle is like my second favorite level in this area. I actually love almost all of Cortex levels except very specifically for Hot Air Skyway. Hot Air Skyway can go fuck itself. But Cortex Castle is one of my favorite levels. But during this run, I performed like shit through here, and I don't remember, and I don't actually ever figure out why until I start doing the time trial, where it's like, oh, I'm power sliding around this particular corner the wrong way that I'm not actually used to.
I like the stained glass Cortex.
God damn it, my bomb shifted its angle. How the hell did it do that? It's only supposed to go. It's only supposed to go in 2 directions.
And there are a lot of wide turns in this level too. Very roomy.
Yeah, but honestly, they're way sharper than they look because they're all very sharp in corners.
Yes. Well, there's always going to come that critical point right around the corner. No, see, you drag along the wall a little bit. That's all right. Just gotta send a nice piping hot missile right up his ass.
That's electrospore, but okay.
And
but
hard
yeah,
left. Right.
Cortex Castle, I honestly really love. It's not actually the rain effect that sells it for me here. I know the rain effect is honestly really impressive, but it's not what I care about. What I care about in Cortex Castle is just how fast and frantic the level is. And that's honestly one of the things that really sells a majority of kart races for me. The frenetic and frantic action that goes in with it.
I mean, as a result of the hazards?
Maybe not as a result of the hazard, but the course design itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I might have to disagree with Cortex Castle. The more, okay, well, these turning segments, yeah, these are pretty frenetic. The spiders, they'll keep you, they'll force you away from the boxes, and the places where you have to jump also will put a little flight in your gut.
How the fuck did Purra not get hit by my nitro?
It's because Purra just cannot die of explosives. I mean, just look at him. Purra.
That would be a huge steroid pin. And
Die, Purra.
With that, we have successfully finished our first 2 races for World 4.
Yeah.
Join us in the next part where we will finish off the main races for World 4 and probably start doing the CTR hunt.